So we're going to look at special products of binomials. We are still multiplying, okay? So you are still either using the box or the FOIL method, but there are helpful tricks for certain binomials. So I'm going to give you the tricks. There's only one that I'm going to emphasize completely that I want you to recognize off the bat. But the other two, I'm going to give you the trick and you can choose to use it, or you can choose to do box or FOIL, whatever works for you, okay? We saw a question like this yesterday. So when we have something like a plus b squared, and those a and b's can be different things, so like x plus 3 squared, what does that mean? What does a plus b squared mean? We saw one like this yesterday on our bingo, and I don't know if you guys had an issue with it, but second or fifth and sixth period definitely did. What does a plus b squared mean? Okay, so let me ask you another question. What does 3 to the third mean? How would you rewrite it before 27? 3 times 3 times 3. So how would I rewrite x plus b squared?
A squared plus b squared.
How about a plus b times a plus b? There are just two of them. This is huge. Okay, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot distribute that 2 in because of the addition sign in between the a and b. You just have 2 a plus b's times a plus b. You can box or FOIL. You know how to multiply that out, right? Here's the trick for it. So if you have a product that is a plus b squared, every single time you multiply it out, here's what's going to happen. You're going to end up with a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and I'll show you what that means. This is the trick every single time. So if I look at x plus 4 squared, what does x plus 4 squared mean? How would I rewrite it? X plus 4 times x plus 4, okay? Now we're going to use box or FOIL before we look at the trick. You can box or FOIL that, correct? Because we've already done that. So let's go through and I'm going to FOIL because I can do that one relatively quickly. So I get x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. X squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. And when I combine like terms, I get x squared plus 8x plus 16. Are we okay with that? Okay, yes? Now, according to my trick, this answer should fall in this category. So let's see. If I'm calling my first term A and my second term B, do you agree that my A is really an x and my B is 4?
Yes.
Yeah, are we okay with that? So if I plug it into this here, x squared plus 2 times A times B plus B squared. I literally just took my A and B and plugged it into this formula. Well, what happens when I simplify? I get x squared plus 8x plus 16. Some of you will be able to do this in your head. Some of you will not. If you don't remember this, that is fine. Use the box or the FOIL method, but I want you to see it. Okay? So why don't you try 2x plus 5 squared. If you think you can use the trick, try it. If you're like, absolutely not, I don't want to learn something else, then box or FOIL. The most important thing is that you know what this means. This 2x plus 5 squared means. That you know it means 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. That is the most important thing. How many people tried the trick? 2 people. Great. Okay, so I'm going to use the trick. Let's see if your answer matches mine. If you boxed or foiled and you got the same answer, you're good. So according to this, my A is 2x, my B is 5. And then according to my trick, it's A squared plus 2 times A times B plus B squared. You should have gotten 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. Did you get that box or foiling? Okay, so you get the same answer. I don't care which one you use, but that's the trick if you'd like to use it. Okay, I'm going to make you in the next one try the trick, but I don't require it for a test. What if I'm multiplying now a binomial that has a subtraction sign in between? So A minus B squared. First things first, how do I rewrite that? Mackenzie?
Oh, in the trick form?
No. Like, how would I just rewrite A minus B squared? A minus B times A minus B. Most important thing is that you can rewrite it. Here is the trick for it. So if you have A minus B squared, your answer will end up being A squared minus 2AB plus B squared. So the only thing that changed was that middle term. If there's a minus, the middle term becomes negative. If it's a plus sign, then the middle term is positive. So I want you to try the trick. Okay? Try the trick. With x minus 5 squared. So try using the trick with x minus 5 squared.
Why did you put it a positive name?
Where, hun?
2AB plus B2
2AB.
at the end right there. Why did you put a positive instead of a negative?
At the end here? This is the only term that changes and becomes negative. So if you multiply it out and use box or foil, you'll see that that term's negative. All the other ones will be positive. Because what's negative b times negative b? Positive b squared. Okay, so try the trick. I don't want you to box or foil, try the trick. What are you using as your A term? X. Now here's the tricky part. What are you using as your B term? It's actually just going to be that 5 because the negative is already built in. So if I plug that in, I get x squared minus 2 times A times B plus B squared. So x squared minus 10x plus 25. If you box or foil, you are going to get the exact same answer. Box and foiling will always work. How many of you are going to use the tricks? One person. Okay. Box or foil is going to be your go-to. Okay. Which is fine. The next one I give you, though, you need to recognize and you need to be able to see because we're going to start factoring in the next unit. So basically, we're going to work backwards where we have this answer and we have to go back to this answer. Okay, so this next one you have to see. Here we're going to multiply a plus b times a minus b. What's the difference?
You'll have a negative.
So what's just the difference between these two? One's positives, one's negative. But the a term's exactly the same, the b term's exactly the same, with a different sign in between. This is called difference of squares. And this is going to be huge when we factor. Okay, difference of squares. If you see difference of squares happen, I'm just going to put equals over here. Your final answer is literally going to be whatever your a is squared minus whatever your b is squared. There is almost zero work with these problems, and they're ones that you need to recognize. So for instance, if I have x plus 3 and x minus 3. You should notice that the first term is exactly the same, the last term is exactly the same, and the only difference is the sign in between, right? They're the exact same with different signs. All you need to do is square the first term, so x squared minus square the last term, 9. That will be your final answer. The middle terms cancel out every single time. Now, will box and foiling work? Yes. Worst case, that's what you should do. But you do need to recognize this type of problem. So if the first term's the same and the last term's the same, with the middle sign being different, one positive, one negative, you square the first term and you square the last term.
Why is it a minus sign?
Why is it a minus sign? So let me FOIL this for you real quick so you can see. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9. Here's x squared. My two middle terms cancel out, and I'm left with negative 9. Okay? You need to recognize these. So let's do one more together, and then I'll give you one to do. So let's do 2x plus 7 times 2x minus 7. Still difference of squares. Same terms, one's positive, one's negative. So really all we're doing here is multiplying the first two terms and then multiplying the last two terms. What is 2x squared, what is 2x squared with the 2x being in parentheses, or what's 2x times 2x? 4x squared. Rule says it's minus, but really it's 7 times negative 7. What's 7 times negative 7? Negative 49. This only works for this type of problem. I saw some of you on your quiz try to do this for a lot of problems. Okay, you have to FOIL or box for every problem but this. So why don't you try this one, and then we will be done. You should theoretically be done with that question by now. Your final answer is y squared minus 64. Any questions, comments, or concerns?